I got this random call. You know there's a dodgy number where there's no number? So like you don't know who's calling. It's like, who's this person calling me? Picked up. No Assalamualaikum, no hello. It's like, is this Syed Saddiq? Dr. Mahdi wants to see you. Please come tomorrow, wait at the ground floor of the Petronas Twin Towers. We'll come and pick you up. I'm like, this is so dodgy. I'm like...
Hello everyone and welcome to this episode of Siapa, Makan, Cili with me, your host Iqbal and...
Hi, I'm Chuck, and we have a very, very special guest today. I think you can see him right in the middle here. Everyone, who is this?
Siapa ni tak tahu?
I'm the samurai cat.
Speaking of cats, we are surrounded by plenty of cat paraphernalia.
That's true.
Starting with that one. I know there's a tragic story behind that, but maybe you can tell us a bit about...
I used to have two wonderful children, both cats by the way.
Innalillah.
Yeah, and then one passed away right in front of the house, which is my Oyin, my friendliest, cutest child, and now he has been immortalized in that. Who drew that? An artist from Sarawak.
Wow. That's amazing. This is post passing.
Yeah, post passing.
Oh,
So
wow.
painted from a photo.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, that person didn't even know that my cat passed away. And then when I was in Sarawak for one of my programs and activities, I saw this particular photo and it reminded me of my cat, Toby.
But was it actually your cat? Like
No,
he
no,
was
it's not,
painted.
it's
Oh.
completely different. But it looked exactly like Toby. Very fat, very cute, adorable eyes. And then the tail is supposed to signify the space. So to me, in a slightly more religious way, I think that's my cat ascending to heaven.
Yeah. It feels very Vision Quest-like, so I think it's perfect.
Chat recently had a... Well, not recently, but not too long ago, had a passing of a pet also.
Oh, no.
A lot of my pets have passed. Yeah. I have a pet cemetery at home. It was very bad. So every year that my wife and I dated, a pet passed away every year from a variety of things. So one was a snake bite, one was a mysterious illness, one was old age, one was terminal illness.
So let me get this right. So every year you are with your partner, a pet dies. That doesn't sound good at all.
Which is why we switched to humans. Now we have a baby, so yeah.
So
she's doing great. She's doing great. Yeah, she's doing great. Great. Change subject now.
Healthy, happy, chomel.
So, ladies and gentlemen, in case you haven't guessed, this is YB Syed Saddiq. Okay, Member of Parliament for Muar P146, former Youth and Sports Minister, and of course a founding member of MUDA. Thank you for joining us.
Technically founding member of Bersatu juga.
That's true.
Kan.
That's very true.
That's accurate. Yeah.
Yep.
So founding member of two major political parties. So to speak.
Which brings us to the photo that we find you in here.
Wow.
So
That's a really old photo, by the way.
there's a lot going on here.
When I
Okay.
look at my face, I feel like slapping my own face.
Can you do the exact same expression with the... Yeah, wow, yep.
But that's a real old. I think that photo was taken in 2016 or 2017.
And
16, 17.
oh, this is before you went to office. Oh wait, no, after.
No, way before I
Oh,
went
yeah.
to office. Yeah, because I remember when that T-shirt was manufactured. Yeah, it was 2016, 2017, before my very first election. This photo was taken at Disneyland, Hong Kong.
Of all the things to wear to a Disneyland.
Exactly. That's why it's epic. To be honest, until now I don't know why I wore it to Disneyland.
Dah Hong Kong.
It was very... Yeah. Thank you for making my decision sound smarter.
Wait, okay, so I kind of wanted to ask. This is obviously a very different version of you.
Correct. I would look a lot more laid back.
So, what would you today say to that guy?
I definitely do not give that face because it feels like slapping that face. Secondly, I remember that was a time where, it's just happy-go-lucky, keep on fighting the good fight, do not care about risk.
Sekarang dia dah tak fight the good fight. Cak.
No, still fight the good fight, but now I think I've matured a lot more. I know how to pick my battles a lot more. There was a time, before I entered my first election.
There's a lot more calculations that have to go on.
There were no calculations.
Yep.
To do was hentam je.
And at that point in time, had you met Tun already? Or not
Yes,
yet?
I did. At that point in time, I remember, I think this was the time where I just, I think this was 2017. Because I just rejected my offer into Oxford with scholarship. And then that was the time where I already worked with Dr. Mahdi as his research officer.
Right.
Because after I rejected, then he took me in as his
How did that happen?
officer.
That initial entry into his office?
It was because of that rejection. So I think Dr. Mahdi knew how big of a decision it was for me. because I think he also knew that my parents and my family really wanted me to leave Malaysia and to leave politics because they were never too fond, especially 2017, you know, where there's never been a change in government. Then my family went through hell because my mom was a civil servant. So yeah, threats here and there. So they really wanted me to leave What More when it came with a scholarship. But when I made the decision to stay, then...
to work for him?
No, at that time there was no offer yet, yeah. Okay. And then after that, I had a conversation with him, and then there was an offer to work directly under him as his research officer.
What was that first meeting with him like? Under what?
Oh, the first meeting was way before. The first meeting, I don't think he even liked me then. Yeah. The first meeting, because I was as direct and fighting all the time, you know. The first meeting I remember, I thought it was a scam. I got this random call. No, I'm not joking, I thought it was a scam. I got this random call, mind you, from, you know, there's a dodgy number where there's no number. Yeah. So like you don't know who is calling. Number, yeah, unknown number. I was like, it's dodgy. I was like, who's this person calling me? Picked up. No assalamualaikum, no hello. It's like, is this Syed Saddiq? I'm like, you call this number. Why are you suddenly asking, is this Syed Saddiq? And it's like, Tun Dr. Mahathir wants to see you. I'm like, no number, scam. I'm like, please come tomorrow. Wait at the ground floor of the Petronas Twin Towers. We'll come and pick you up. I'm like, this is so dodgy. I'm like, no explanation as to why, you know, like, I just want to meet you.
But how did you pop up on his radar in the first place? Did you find out?
Well, I mean, this was around what,
this
2015?
2015, yeah, 2015.
He was already Asia's best debater and all of that at that point.
My debate background.
So debate background now was
you were reasonably visible at that point in time already.
Yeah, but mostly because of debate. Not politics barely. Yeah, I was still working as a researcher for. I was working as a part-time officer for Nancy Shukri, then the minister. Working for a think tank under the chief minister of Johor, but not in the front line of politics, you know. So then when I went to, in my mind I'm like, what do I have to lose? Let's say I got scammed. Worst case scenario, I'll just bring my sports shoes. I'll go jogging around Galway City. Right? I mean, I won't lose much. Yeah. To my surprise, when I went there, then I saw like a bunch of other young people. So it's not just me. Like,
so it was an audition.
I don't know. So there are like 20 other young people. And then I'm like, okay, this is interesting. And then one thing which I noticed is that all of us were Malays. I'm like, okay, this is interesting. and then we were brought to, I've never been to like that level of Petronas Twin Towers, you know, at the top, the chairman's office. So Tun I think was still a chairman. He was already vocal against Tun Sri Najib 1MDB, but he was still a chairman. I think it was like 1 month before I got sacked as a chairman, but yeah. Went out, I was like, wow, this is beautiful. And then I got to see Tun Hasma as well. And then we had an open Q&A session where he was talking in length about how young people should save UMNO. And then everyone was just like listening, like, yes. I'm like, so in my mind, I'm like, does he know I'm not part of UMNO? And then I wanted to ask a question. So immediately when I could ask a question, I was the first one to raise my hand. And then I said, Tun, first and foremost, if someone like you, then I think it was what, 90 years old, who's been the longest serving Prime Minister, longest serving President of UMNO, if someone like you can't give constructive criticism to UMNO for UMNO to listen to you on this 1MDB scandal, why would UMNO ever listen to these 20 young kids in front of you, you know? They wouldn't care about our voice at all. Ooh. Yeah, and then you know, Tun being Tun, fashionably say, okay, young boy, so what will you do? So at that very moment, to be honest, I didn't think it through. I just thought, okay, you know, this debate mind,
debate mind.
Why do you set up another party to then take on UMNO?
Oh, wow.
And he gave me this look like, who are you? I think he thought that was, he never thought about the actual thing. He still thought UMNO could be saved from the inside.
But then that gave you the golden buzzer to Tun's Got Talent.
I to be honest, I don't know because I wasn't invited for a while. I wasn't invited for a while. Okay. Then what happened after was Tan Sri Muhyiddin was actually the one who picked me up, and then...
Did you have a history with Tan Sri Muhyiddin?
No. With Tan Sri Muhyiddin again, because my interest in politics was really out of pure coincidence. Because my family, no one is in politics. For Tan Sri Muhyiddin, it was even funnier. A group of friends, one of them contacted me and said, hey, you are from Johor, right? I'm like, yeah, I'm from Johor. Do you want to meet up with Tan Sri Muhyiddin? At that point in time, Tan Sri Muhyiddin got sacked already from cabinet. So he's hosting like a breakfast session at his house. And you can ask whatever questions you have. So I'm like, wow, interesting, I want to ask a lot of questions because he was sacked. He was just sacked. So I went, and obviously in that meeting, it's like, all of them are super old. They're very old people, and there's me and my friend who's young. But then, I think to Tan Sri's credit, he saw me and said, hey, are you the brave Johor boy? I'll never forget. He said, are you the brave Johor boy? So I'm like, I don't know whether I'm the brave Johor, but I'm like, Saddiq from Johor. I said, yes. Okay, you sit next to me. I'll never forget. So when I sat next to him, we were both wearing white, I remember that. And then he said, it's good that you are brave, because then I came out some statements on how to reform Malaysia, on 1MDB, on what the Prime Minister should and should not do. And then after that, we exchanged contacts, and then his officer started calling me in to help to write speeches. My first political event, I wasn't a political leader, I was merely an MC. A member of ceremony, to my surprise, and then UMNO flagged event, you know. Because at that time, Tashmini was no longer the Deputy Prime Minister, he was only the Deputy President, sacked as in Cabinet but still Deputy President. So he hosted like this event outside of the UMNO HQ, not inside, outside. He said, why don't you be the MC? I'm like, sure. To my surprise, like, all UMNO flags around, all the UMNO grassroots leaders, I was just the MC. Yeah. And then one thing led to another.
So at that point that you were meeting Tan Sri Muhyiddin, Tun M, where did you, where were you where did you lie on how you felt about Tun M? Where did you lie on how you felt about UMNO?
At that point in time, I mean, I come from Johor, and even though none of my family members are politically involved in leadership, but I think some of them are card-carrying UMNO members, you know, just like ahli biasa. And especially in Johor, you understand it's a blue-blooded state. BN, UMNO is deep in the roots. So yeah, they've always, I'll vividly remember where my mom, once upon a time, would force my brother to go out to vote and even wear the BN t-shirt. Thank God I didn't have to go through that. So I remember all of this. So for me at that point in time, I was quite conflicted. Because on the one hand, I knew what was happening with 1MDB, because then I was really in the middle. I used to work at the Ministry of Law temporarily. So I knew what was happening. Definitely it wasn't, I mean, what the government was saying is a clear-cut lie, right? Definitely misallocation of funds, corruption, abuse of power. So I knew it was wrong. So that's one big concern which I had. At the same time, there were also UMNO leaders then, like Dr. Mahathir and Tan Sri Muhyiddin, I think, who were either kicked out or left, who are there. So like, is it UMNO? Is it not UMNO? Is this a struggle for UMNO? Is this much bigger than UMNO? So I was stuck in between there. That's why
But did you ever feel like when they called you, like, is this a trap?
Yeah.
Or, you know, are they going to suck me into their...
I mean, if they were to ask me to join a political party, then to be honest, I wouldn't.
Interesting.
So that's why, to be fair, to their credit, they never asked me to join UMNO or any political party. I think the decision to set up Bersatu was way after, I think about 1 year after.
So when I was standard 3, and then we were reading a passage in class, I think our teacher just had a newspaper clipping and we had a copy of it, and she asked one of my classmates to read the piece of news, and the piece, I don't remember what the piece of news about, it had the word UMNO in it. Yeah. My classmate was reading it, and when he got to the word UMNO, he like paused, and clearly he had never seen the word before. Yeah. He then said UMNO, and I don't know, standard 3 at the time, I had heard the name UMNO throughout. I don't know, my parents talk about politics quite a lot, and so when I saw my classmate kind of do that, I was like, wow, clearly this is not a thing other families do. Other families don't necessarily talk about politics. How political was your family?
Almost zero. Almost zero. We're very...
Despite your mom forcing your brother to...
Only political during election time where we do not have a choice. Yeah, simple as that. Yeah. That I remember for my brother. But I'm fairly still to my brother. I did not follow my mom's advice. So it's either my brother ended up not voting or voted for the other side just to, out of spite, you know. So just to show that young people do not follow the orders of the older generation, which is a great thing. Yeah.
So how does your mom feel about you being in politics now?
Now I think she has come to terms. Now she is the most supportive person I have behind me. So I'm privileged to be the best, to have the best parents in the world. Yeah.
Okay, wow.
But yeah, my family didn't talk much about
it's interesting. So my extended family on my dad's side are from Batu Pahat.
Oh really?
Yes.
Oh, neighbors, okay.
So it's weird because I feel like that whole extended family all hate UMNO. And I felt like I was brought up in an environment where everyone hated UMNO.
Interesting. Oh, mine was really...
Yeah.
I think the pivotal swing in my family was in 2018. That was the only time.
How interesting, okay.
I think, seriously, if someone did a polling on my family prior to 2018, it's like, out of 50, all 50 would go for...
How...
and then after, during G40, I think if you do a polling, it's like all 50 went the other way.
How much would you credit that to the 1MDB scandal? Like, if it had not happened, what do you think?
Oh, I think if 1MDB did not happen, I'm pretty sure maybe my entrance to politics would not have happened, or would be much later. Most likely I would already be furthering my studies. But yeah, because it was truly, I think that was the biggest game changer for me.
So we talked about this in the car on the way here, because obviously it's Tun M's 100th birthday, right? Yeah. And we were talking about his legacy a little bit. And it was curious because, do you think that the 2018, because obviously it was a landmark election, right? No one expected the results.
Right.
Do you think it could have happened? Okay, which one do you think affected it more? 1MDB or Tun?
If 1MDB had not happened, I think Tun M would still be a card-carrying member of UMNO.
Okay, then let me take 1MDB out. Do you think the election could have been won without Tun at the helm?
If 1MDB was still there,
yeah,
I think it would. I think most likely the public would have made their mind to go against the government.
Really?
Okay, so you still think it was 1MDB?
Yeah, yeah. But to be honest, I think 1MDB was there. I cannot ever foresee Tun staying in UMNO in that situation.
Knowing what happened after the fact, yeah.
Correct, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, from us as a media point of view, because at that point, Chili Sauce was just coming up, and we monitored it really closely, and we didn't think that there was a chance, you know, because from the polls that we had, and you were in a think tank also before, right? So you would know about this.
Oh yeah, definitely.
They seem to accept like a certain degree of, I mean, in the heartland, they accept a certain degree of corruption as macam tu je lah, kan? So we didn't think that 1MDB would be the turning point, but when we saw that Tun M was taking a picture with Lim Kit Siang, like suddenly, like just like, you know, everything just like all bets are off, and all the throw out the rule book, and.
But still, obviously, you contested. But did you foresee
winning? No. One more becoming minister. I'm being very frank. I'm being very frank. At that point, I was contesting one. To be fair, BN fielded a very strong incumbent candidate, which is YB Razali then. He was a two-term member of parliament MUA, relatively young. He was the deputy chairman of FELDA, multi-billion-dollar GLC, and a deputy minister. And to his credit, I think he did a lot for MUA. That's why, you know, I think even as a current sitting MP of MUA, I have great respect to my predecessor. So it was never easy. And I mean, in terms of resources, I think it's like 1,000 to 1, you know. But when I went in, I knew that even if I were to lose, it is okay. I will learn a lot. You know, and that's why I was prepared. So to be very fair, after I rejected my first offer into Oxford in 2017, then Oxford came back and said, hey, you can postpone it maximum for 1 more year, and then you reapply. And I did that. I immediately replied after thinking, hey, maybe I'm going to lose. If I'm lucky, I'll get back to Oxford again, and then I can go. To my surprise, I won. And when I won, I think 1 or 2 weeks after, I got the letter that I'll be reaccepted into Oxford with scholarship. And it was a different scholarship. Now I think then it was Chevening. Right. It was a different scholarship. I'm like, oh, so at that point in time, I thought, okay, I actually went to see the Prime Minister. I didn't know I was going to become a cabinet minister. I told him, like, is it possible? Because maybe we can do like this hybrid arrangement where I fly there, I come back, but I can do this because it was only a 1-year course. And it's not, I mean, you don't have to be physically there all the time. So I thought, hey, I can do my Oxford Masters while serving as an MP. And then at that time, he already gave me this role. I think maybe he had plans for me already in cabinet, which I didn't know. But only after he said, my suggestion is just hold back first, you'll hear from me soon. Little did I know that hearing from him soon is me being appointed to cabinet.
Do you think he like gave you that so you wouldn't go to Oxford, or?
Yeah, but actually, no.
I have to now. Yeah.
Otherwise, this idiot is going to have to get his master's.
How do I keep him, man? Yeah.
Shall we field the questions?
Okay. Yeah. We lingered on the picture for like half an hour already, I think. Yeah. So wait, sorry. One last question. Where does this T-shirt come from? Do you remember?
Yes, I think it's one of my friends, and now who actually runs Absolute Bazaar. You know, one of the biggest like Hari Raya Ramadan kind of a bazaar. Absolute Bazaar. Yeah, his name is Ben. I think he was the one who came up with this T-shirt.
It's a nice design.
It was to be sold for a fundraising event. Yeah. That's how I remember.
Well, happy birthday, Tun.
Yeah, happy birthday, Tun.
100th birthday.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Just 1 year younger than my grandma. Okay, so we'll start off with some easy stuff.
What's your workout split? What does that mean? Like, is it my running?
Yeah,
like what's the ratio lah? Like cardio ke?
Because you run, you swim, cycle.
Okay.
Yeah. We tried to get him here in his exercise gear, but you know, yeah, he wanted to wear this really cool jacket.
Kind dodging.
If I were to wear it, it would look slightly indecent.
And he was eating a banana.
with Nutella.
With Nutella, yeah, with Nutella.
No, Nutella's not sponsoring us.
Okay, so easy one. What's your workout split like? What do you spend time on? You're training for a triathlon that we hear.
So I have I qualified for the World Ironman Championships in Nice. That will be in France in September. So I'm building up my training effort to that. So now I put in about 17 hours a week. So that's about 2.5 hours or 3 hours a day. Weekends will be much longer. So to put it very simply, in the morning at about 6:15 to 6:30, that's when I start running. It's either running, cycling, or swimming. So you have to pick one. So you don't run like back to back like the same day. So if today is running, then tomorrow is cycling and swimming.
Every day?
Every day. So weekends will be a lot longer. Weekends, you start 6:15, you'll finish at about noon. That's where you do your long bike, where you cycle for about 140 to 180 kilometers. And then on a Sunday, that's where you...
40 to 180? You can cycle back to Muar.
Yeah, that's true. Okay, Muar is about 190, but yeah, it's not that bad. Yeah. But then on Sunday, that's you a long run, which is about 30 kilometers. So combine it, that's about like 16, 17 hours.
This is the most fit you've ever been.
Oh, definitely. 110%. And I feel so much better. That's when people say, why are you investing so much of your time doing this, Ironman? I say, no, I'm actually investing in my mental health, investing in myself, in my brain capacity. Now I can think clearly, act more decisively. I feel so much better than how I was before.
But I don't know, stuff like sleep and rest days aren't those necessary parts of a training regime?
So what has changed in my life, which I genuinely appreciate. Back then, first it would be much harder for me to sleep early. Like almost impossible for me to sleep before 12 o'clock. I mean, ask Cikgu Tanusha, we'll have our Muda meetings here until 1 a.m. in the morning, 12 o'clock. Yeah. And then once we finish, people still continue to eat and I'll be here, right? So now it has changed completely. I'm the most boring old uncle in Malaysia, which will sleep at like 10:30.
I take personal offense, but okay, it's fine. It's fine. It's fine. Yeah.
No, but seriously, I mean like I sleep early.
Yeah.
And like I sleep so peacefully, like my sleep quality has gotten so much better. Whenever I'm in a moving car, like on the way back to Muar, I'll just like...
Oh yeah, okay.
Off. So, yeah, recovery to me is sleep and how I eat as well. Maybe I don't take like rest days in between. Yeah, but I just manage the intensity.
But is this semata-mata sebab you have your triathlon coming up, or is this...
No.
You're going to continue this?
I'm set now that I want to do this for the rest of my life.
Wow.
And I want to be the fittest triathlete when I'm 80 years old.
Okay.
Because I can never be one today because they are so much better than me.
Okay, right? So that's a more reasonable goal.
I started last year, but I can think and plan until 80.
I thought you were going to say fittest politician. Yeah. The only one that can give you a run for your money is Ong Keng Ming. Yeah.
And tu pun dia dah bukan MP, so...
Yeah, exactly.
He inspired me a lot to be a good runner. I remember when I joined my first Standard Chart, I was so impressed because then I was serving in the ministry. I think it was Deputy Miti then. So I think we started at the same point. Standard Chart, we did 21 kilometers. By the time I finished, to show how fast it was, by the time I finished at 21 km, not only has he finished, he has gone back up to his room, showered, came back down, eat, socialize with VVIPs, then could still say, oh, finally Saddiq has arrived.
No, betul. My wife and I go hiking with him once in a while, right? He's like, you call this a hike?
Yeah. So I mean, and he's he's a genuinely great guy. So yeah.
Okay, that answers that question really well. Another easy one for you, okay? This is from our former editor who has just left, Yu Hua. Hi YB, do you know JoJo's Bizarre Adventure and can you do Giorno Giovanna's Muda Muda Battle Cry? Yeah, have you heard about this before?
Yeah,
are you an anime guy?
Last time I religiously watched anime was like Naruto and
okay, so not really.
But now you get 8 hours of sleep, so
I had to cut.
Had to cut entertainment.
Yeah. Like so many things. But
so what's it sound like? What's it sound like?
Yeah, I think that one, right?
We can't even audit him sebab kita tak tahu reference ni.
No. Pernah guna kat ceramah or not?
No. Something wrong with me. Yeah. I think it's the right one, right?
You let us know whether it's the right one, okay? Alright, let's move on. Another easy one. What's an ideal day for you, YB? Sorry if that's not your voice, Mr. Great Kun 19, but I was just getting an impression, yeah. What's an ideal day for you, like? When you would go to sleep and go like, yeah, I've done well today.
Yeah, I mean, maybe because I have this slightly more workaholic side of me, where my ideal day is where I get to wake up really early, do my fitness, exercise, sports, I still have to integrate work in it. But my ideal definition of work is where I can travel to different places. For example, if I'm in Muar, I'm in like 5 or 6 different locations, meeting up with different groups of people, solving their problems.
Yep.
And then in the evening, do a little bit more sports to clear my mind. At night, have a private time to myself for dinner with my family. And then go to bed knowing that I've accomplished like my checklist and solved.
Yeah, it's always
couple
good
solutions.
feeling.
The thing that sucks is we don't know whether this is a politician answer. We don't know whether he's saying this because, you know, he wants.
No, I know it's not a politician answer because
Okay.
they would never have a workout.
Okay, I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
No, trust me, it's my.
Oh, but okay, I guess what fulfillment or enjoyment do you get out of having a day structured like that? Is it the
Because it's both.
accomplishment, or is it?
Because I genuinely like to resolve problems. I also like to do a lot of sports.
Okay.
And at the same time, I love my private family time. So you combine the three.
Okay.
People talk about work-life balance, talk about work-life integration. That is the best balance.
Okay.
Because I tried. I tried going on a holiday. Then I was at one of the beaches here. And then when I was on a holiday, I'm like what? Am I just going to sit
Not
by
do
the side of
anything,
the beach
yeah.
and not do anything?
Okay.
Then I found the unique balance. I just bring my tablet, so I can do work while enjoying the beach. I realized
That's
this is the
not
balance.
balance.
To me, that's
You can't bring a
Okay.
laptop to a
No,
beach.
but then some people are like that. I guess.
Oh,
Yeah, you
no.
can't switch off.
Yeah, it's very hard. It's very hard.
Really?
Yeah. I feel at the end of the day, I'm so unaccomplished that I didn't get to fulfill.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Move my brain and I feel my brain cells dying.
Which part of the work do you enjoy the most? Like all the things you do, you know?
Oh, in politics, I think the best is when I'm able to either pursue a policy goal, or
Yep.
am able to be the best check and balance to reject a bad policy.
Yep.
That's the most, like one of my most fulfilling, like I'll never forget the day, I'll never forget the moment where I teared a little bit was when Undi 18 was passed. To me, that's one of my most fulfilling days ever.
Yep.
You know, because witnessing it pass in Parliament unanimously, bipartisan support after working on it for close to 1.5 years.
Yeah.
So that to me is life-changing, and that will always remind me why I'm in politics.
Yeah.
Did it surprise you when that passed as unanimously as it did? Because I recall during that period there was like a lot of people did not like the idea
Correct.
of
Yeah.
macam mana kau nak bagi budak undi kalau dia tak tahu nak gosok
And
gigi.
it wasn't, people say it was popular, it was a populist, it's not.
Right.
It was unpopular. Polling then
right.
more than 50% of Malaysians did not support it. It's the other way around because of what you rightfully betul. Takkan nak benarkan mak rempit untuk undi is the typical line here, right?
So were you surprised that it was able to be passed the way how it went?
So there are two ways, right? Two paths. One is you work to change hearts and minds of the public, which will take a long time. The second path, you work internally with political parties, political leaders, making them realize that, hey, you can change the minds of the public, but you need to support it first. When the support takes place, that's when public perception will change.
There's not many examples of that, and the fact that
In Portugal, there's one, decriminalization of drug addiction.
so
Yeah. Public
Hated the idea?
Yeah. But it changed completely when the government passed it. And then
Huh.
until today, no government, whether it's this party or that, can reverse it. Similarly, like Undi 18, now you have what, 4
Yeah.
5 different prime ministers, you can't change it.
You can't remove it
Yeah.
already. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm curious though, like when you were lobbying for it, like where was the biggest resistance to it? Was it with the conservatives? Was it with the more urban areas or the less urban areas?
Everyone have their own sets of disagreements then, so I
Yeah.
have to address them. For an example,
Yeah.
when I were to meet up friends in Pakatan Harapan, then they said, hey, now we are in government, young people are opposition minded, you know, they're really rebellious. So I said, hey, I mean, back then when we were in opposition, so we'll support something just because, you know, it gives us votes, is it? Instead
Yep,
of
yep, yep, yep,
it
yep,
being
yep.
a-
Principle, yeah.
principle or an inherent right. So that's one side. And then I remember then for UMNO, the opposition was very different. I think they thought, hey, we lost the historic GE14 battle because we lost the youth votes. And now
Yep.
you want to add more the youth votes?
Yep, yep, yep,
Different.
yep, yep, yep.
When I met up with PAS, they were like, a lot of non-Malays will end up registering. They are the ones who register their children to vote the most. A lot of the rural Malays don't. So as a consequence, you need to pursue automatic voter registration as well.
Yeah.
So
Which is also a good thing.
which is a good thing. So I'm like, thank you, but at that point in time, many people didn't know. I was working like, okay, but if I suddenly, because automatic voter registration, it's hard to say it's under my portfolio.
Right.
Only 18 I can say young people.
Yeah.
AVR, slightly harder.
Yeah.
So I said, why do you ask? And I will negotiate on behalf of you and bring it in, and then we couple it together, which worked.
Nice.
Which worked really well.
And that's how you got bipartisan support now.
Correct, yeah. In the end, it's about addressing. Even I remember then one of the most criticized moments when I was a minister, when I met up with Datuk Sri Najib, that was in Parliament. He said, why do you meet up with him? I remember it was even raised in cabinet. How could you meet up with him? So I'm like, first, he's a member of Parliament. He still holds sizable influence in UMNO and Barisan Nasional. I must meet up with him. I mean, I met up with literally anyone and everyone at that point in time. And he raised another concern. He said that, hey, if you do this, then how would it be fair for UMNO and opposition politicians when you can enter university but we can't? Yeah. Then I cheekily said, yeah, I remember I was a university student then and then I got almost expelled from university. I said, never mind, don't worry. I will bring this up towards the Minister of Education. Let's find a middle path. And at that point in time, I also said I put my name on the line. Remember, I also mentioned that they were UMNO Siswa, like this youth leaders in UMNO, who spoke at the Perhimpunan Agung UMNO General Assembly, who then was about to be taken action. And I defended them. I said, see, my track record will show that when I defend their freedom of speech, I don't care whether they are within UMNO or not. I even went further. I said, we have this Perdana Fellowship program where young people are placed as interns under ministers. There were so many ministers who kicked out like their Perdana Fellows because they were card-carrying UMNO members. I took them all in under my ministry. Not under my ministry, under my office. I have no problem. I don't care even if you're UMNO, if you're good, right? I just want to show that there is a way for bipartisanship to win. Yeah.
Okay, so on that topic, and I know we're going very far from what is an ideal day for you, but
Passing undi 18.
No, okay.
Passing undi 18 was an ideal day for him.
Because in Malaysia, I feel that the public sometimes lacks the majority to understand bipartisanship. They treat it as treachery a lot of the time.
Oh, that's true.
Right? And you've been in that position many, many times in your career.
Yeah.
Do you think that tide is shifting now, or is it still a long, long way to go before we can understand that talking to the enemy is not necessarily a bad thing?
I mean, now we're not just talking to enemies, we are joining hands, singing Kumbaya together. I think the public is confused, to be very honest. But I just say there's a big difference between bipartisanship, working on a policy agenda, than you sacrificing your principles and dignity to join hands, the party, coalition, everything together. There's a big difference.
Big difference or fine line?
I think there is a clear difference.
Okay.
Yeah. I think in the end, if you have the country in mind and there's a clear policy goal which you want to reach, it is worth talking across the aisle. As long as you get the policy aim and the policy goal.
Can I ask then, do you see that direction in the current government? As one of the most visible opposition MPs right now?
I mean, my hope, to be very honest, I thought when UMNO lost even a larger amount of seats than in GE14, now they barely have 27, 28 seats. That at least the PH-led government could hold the fort when it comes to fighting corruption, reforms. But to my surprise, it's like the other way around. And often...
Explain that. What do you mean other way around? The end is fighting corruption?
Even the most basic reforms are being put on hold, or worse, existing reforms are being taken back. I'll show a very simple example. Appointment of judges. Back then we'll go through the JAC. And I think the former Chief Justice have gone through 4 or 5 different Prime Ministers. And look where we're at now when it comes to judicial integrity, or at least the perception of judicial integrity. Clearly, even if you were to ask, is it better today than, let's say, in 2020 or 2021 after Sheraton happened? I think that's something we should be managed. And my hope, I'm still have a great hope in Datuk Sri Anwar in correcting it. I think he still has the time to do it before it's too late. But yeah, that is definitely an issue. Another very simple example. Asset declaration for ministers. Done in 2018. I was the first one to declare. I pushed hard for it. Cabinet agreed. Everyone had to declare. Government changed. Even in 2020, minister declared assets, including UMNO. Today, There's nothing.
They were deleted.
Do you know why that is? Why?
I have no idea.
Because that was such a good idea. Everyone loved it.
Correct. And every time I keep on hearing the argument that UMNO didn't want it, but I'm like, but UMNO did it. Like in 2020, then they say, about allocations and equal allocations, whether you are in government or opposition.
Yep. That's something you've been lobbying for ages.
UMNO this, but then people don't know. UMNO controls Johor. State government. In Johor, my Adon, now my party president, Amira Aisha, gets allocation, even though it's not a huge amount, but she still gets it, and that's from UMNO. And UMNO led state. In federal, it's not the case. I'm like, you see how big?
Yeah.
I can give you a whole list of things. It'll be remarkably long. But my greatest fear is it's not about like nitpicking these reforms. It's that you do realize that at one point in time, government will change. If not this election, next election. If let's say even when Anwar's no longer contesting, 15 years down the road, if it changes, people remember what you did. It'll be so difficult for the reformists to come back up because the public will remember this. Like,
tapi dorang tahu benda ni. I doubt we're being led by entirely by idiots. So what's going on there?
I don't know. So on that part, I think you may have to call another one in this one.
Okay.
No. So I have a question because earlier, remember we were looking at your younger photo and we're saying like, what would you say to him? And then your answer was that you would be more calculated. So taking that calculation into that new realization of the calculations that go on behind politics, do you think Anwar is managing that balance well now or not?
Definitely, he could manage it better. I know that he's in a very difficult position. But I think while he's in a difficult position, I think the cards are in his hands. That's why I firmly believe that he can be the person to reform Malaysia if he wants to. Because it is not true that he's wholly burdened or tied to UMNO, because now he has 2/3 majority. Opposition will never be able to take back government until next election, and even then it's very tough at the state in which opposition is in today. He can do it.
If he wants to. Do you believe he wants to?
So that's something which I'm still waiting to see.
Okay.
Okay. So that's your ideal day for YB Syed Saddiq. Next question. Okay, we're going to more difficult ones. Did Saddiq take money or not? Answer yes or no.
And I want to say this. This was probably the main reason we wanted to have this interview with you today. You just wrapped up your court case. There's so many questions we have.
Feel free to ask. I feel a lot more comfortable if you asking that than about my personal life.
Than the prosecutor.
No problem.
Than the public prosecutor.
Encik Zulkifli Muhammad, this is the direct answer. And
yes, I did. Okay, sorry, chill. I'm going to explain. Yes, I'm a member of parliament, therefore I take taxpayers' money to fund my salary. That's about it. If I were to take corruption, absolutely not. And I believe now my name has been cleared in court. No, I did not use other routes through political negotiations, kissing hands, to get my case dropped, even though I could, but I did not. I fought for 5 years in court, and I won decisively 3-0 with a 68-page written judgment in detail, explaining how not a single cent went to me and how I did not benefit from it. And mind you, that money is not even public's money, it's not like ministry's money. It was a SOP issue of party's money then.
Can you run us through? Because, again, you were found guilty at the High Court level. This was 2022, I believe?
Correct. 2023.
And you appealed the decision, and what we recently had with the good news, you being found not guilty, that was at the level court appeal. The government will be appealing that decision, so your case will be going to the federal court. What do you want people to understand of your case?
I never like putting politicians like myself on a pedestal, so I think the best way for you to know who's right and who's wrong, just take 30 minutes of your time to download the 68-page written judgment, which was unanimously written and agreed upon by the 3 appeal court judges, very senior judges, to detail out what actually happened in my case. Because when I read the comments, I think some of them are like, they're completely confused and get the facts wrong in my case. Like, even the prosecutors didn't argue like how the public's arguing. For example, so they say, the 1 million ringgit entered my account, or the 1 million ringgit was in this house. Even the prosecutors didn't argue that, the 1 million ringgit, the only thing prosecutors argue that the withdrawal of that 1 million ringgit should have gone through the Supreme Council of the party, even though it was during COVID. But there's absolutely no argument from the prosecutor that the money went to me, I benefited, or I spent it on my own. No, it's just that the withdrawal should have gone through the Supreme Council. Even the prosecutors knew that every single cent was spent on the party. I didn't take a single cent. Then there's another one, which is way before I even become an MP, which is where people say, but Saddiq, you have money in your ASB. This is the ASB. Confusing the part, right? This is the ASB. But again, just read the case. First and foremost, that came about in 2018 before I became an MP and a minister, where Bersatu was deregistered. The whole case is that this is Bersatu's money. You remember 2 months before election, Bersatu was deregistered. Bersatu didn't help me to fundraise. I had to do my own fundraiser. My officers, who I paid first, were the ones who helped me do this. Are not even Bersatu members or Bersatu leaders. There were no Bersatu or Armada flags even at the fundraiser. The one who came were my family and friends. Right? And they all testified, saying that this fundraising is for Syed Saddiq, nothing to do about the party. Not just that. They said, oh, but money entered your account later. I showed in court. I withdrew money from my ASB first. Has anyone done a fundraiser? I can say, has anyone run a fundraiser? You do realize you spend your own money first, right? You have to book the hotel room, the hotel convention hall. You have to book food. You have to hire staff, photographer, videographers, Facebook ads. You think that's cheap? All of this I showed. I withdrew 50,000 ringgit from my own ASB first. I took a loan. I spent my own money. And people say, oh, but there's no proof. You cannot lie these kind of things. Why? Anyone who has been a candidate in election will know every single cent must be declared to the Suruhanjaya Pilihan Raya, SPR. I even tendered that as evidence that I spent 175,000. This is not an afterthought. This was filed in 2018. You know how much you fundraise after minusing the cost? 90,000 ringgit. Which one is bigger? 170,000 or 90,000 ringgit? So, just to explain, this is a very brief summary. But I haven't even entered the political persecution about how one day before I was charged, outside you saw the table there, the MACC officer, my own investigating officer came saying this is your moment to sign an SD. Then for the Prime Minister, maybe you will not get charged. The Prime Minister loves you, you will not get charged. But I give a very decisive, obviously I recorded. I said, I give very decisive. I said, no, if you want to charge me, just charge me. Right? I mean, do not waste time for 1 year saying I'm going to be charged. But if you don't do this, you're going to get charged. I said, no, just charge me. Do not waste time.
This reminds me of the cops of the roadblock like that one. You know? Hey, kalau saman susah, you tahu tak? Oh.
So I think this is a question that a lot of people will want to know. Again, you start off the interview, you were talking about your history with Tan Sri Muhyiddin Yassin, and what you just shared, someone coming to you with the offer, all this can go away if you just sign the statutory declaration. And a lot of people were confused by that. You, I think, were posting photos after the fact with Tan Sri. You were still on good terms with him, even after what had happened to you had happened. Explain that.
This is why I always insist that institutional reforms should be the main priority instead of partisanship of personalities. Why? What has not changed, despite a change in government many times? Same operators in MACC, same laws, same games, same old systems. It's absolutely the same. Do you think today it's better? I mean, look at hundreds of millions being found and yet no charges. Look at what's happening in Sabah. Right? I mean, clear cut with video and audio evidence, authenticated. Still like, oh, nothing much. LCS, I don't think I have to convince the public that these are like superb corruption. But if you are close with those in power, nothing will happen. Right? Not just nothing will happen, you can make the cases go away. But if you are against them, you are in big trouble. So that's why I think I've come to realize that the position of power is so lucrative to a point that anyone who holds a seat will command so much power, and if the old system continues, no matter who's in power, Malaysia will be dragged behind.
Okay, so with that said, is that why you don't hold anything personally against Tan Sri?
To be honest, today I don't hold anything personally against many people. It's not just Tan Sri Muhyiddin. For example, put it very simply, in court, when I met up with my deputy public prosecutor, some of the things which he said, again, now has been proven in court, are like, to me, mind-boggling. But at the end of the case, I will still pay my respects. Assalamualaikum, all the best. Then I know the people who threatened me came to see me after saying different things. One thing which I learned, especially in politics, is if you focus too much on the past and hold this strong grudge in you, not only are you hindering progress for the country, you're also hindering progress for yourself.
There's a balance to be had there. Obviously, there's always room for forgiveness, but in terms of pursuit of justice, if someone had wronged you, is it the best move to simply allow things to go unchecked?
What can I do? For an example, and today I've revealed everything. And this, for example, I want to ask this question to the government of the day. They knew then what happened to me. Not only that, when I was politically persecuted then, all presidents of Pakatan Harapan came out with a statement saying that I'm a victim of political persecution, including the Prime Minister today. But when the government changed, when I started being vocal, then it's the same old game being played again. Not just that, now even after winning in court, 3-0, still appealing. So you can no longer say, oh, this is the fault of the previous. You know, it's being continued. The same old game is being continued. Not just that, there's audio evidence authenticated in court how my own investigating officer was compromised. Hidayah, one of the witnesses, was asked to stand one leg for 30 minutes in MACC, shouted at, and she was so confident. I remember, I was like, are you sure this happened? She was so confident. She said, there's CCTV, it was blinking red light. Get the police to get the CCTV footage. Suddenly, the CCTV footage went missing. Right? I mean, this is all being recorded, proven. Do you see any action or reform taking place now? You only see the same problem being continued. So, you see where I'm coming from. If I keep on focusing on the past, I'll never be able to move forward. You know, my mom and my dad were called up and investigated more by MACC than me. That's how ridiculous. And my mom, when it's called up, what MACC does, actually the case was not about like party funds. So they just like go through your accounts, check everything first, and then go through all your colleagues' accounts, family's accounts, So for my mom, nothing was, I mean, when I was minister, no abuse power, nothing. They're not contending that. But they went to my mom's account like 10 years ago and said, oh, there's a withdrawal of 500 ringgit, 300 ringgit. So why? Obviously, if you are someone old, you won't remember. Then they realize, oh, my mom is a cikgu penjawat awam, but she also taught tuition. And she didn't get express approval from the Ministry of Education. But it's not tuition besar, it's tuition kat rumah, the small one. You buka meja. So he said, because of that, your income, which is like not much, it's like 2,000 ringgit, the tuition kat rumah. Yeah. But I said, no, but the way how they calculated, I said, okay, because you taught for like, 30 years, so 2,000 ringgit times 12 times 30, and then once you exceed a specific amount, it becomes compoundable, so times 4, which also means it becomes a criminal offence and you will lose your pension.
They will find a way, right? They'll just find a way. With all that's happened, and then now obviously the judgment is in your favour, how do you think that happened, despite all the system that you're talking about? Like the judges that were appointed to the case and so on and so forth.
And the fact that, they overturned an initial guilty
How does a situation like this happen in the kind of systematic issues that you talked about just
where
like
all
5
the cards are
minutes
stacked
ago?
against you?
Yeah. How does that happen?
So the reason why I was so confident of fighting the good fight in 2020, 2021, I mean, it took them 1.5 years to investigate. It was remarkably long. Many people didn't know. They only saw MACC. It wasn't just, it was MACC, it was SPRM. Then after that was LHDN, ROS, almost every single investigating agency investigated. But the reason I was very confident is because I knew that the final bastion of defense of Malaysian democracy, which is the judiciary, then was independent, especially under Tun Maimon. I mean, she's known as a lady who's viciously independent, doesn't listen, including at times to the sitting Prime Minister. And I've heard it, many different Prime Ministers saying, like you do not mess with Tun Maimon, which gives me great confidence. Some politicians feel like, oh my God, this person doesn't listen to me, that's bad. But someone who's aggrieved, I think that's great. Someone who stands with integrity. So that's why I was willing to fight the good fight. That's why even in the High Court, I'll never forget when the conviction came in. I'm going to explain what happened. I remember when it came, I was like, what? It's like, I thought the world was like, up is down, down is up. Like, what? Like, how could this even happen? And many of you didn't know when the decision happened in the High Court, there was no written judgment, no oral judgment. It was just a guilty verdict, 10 years, 5 or 7 years, 10 million fine, 2 rotan. And that's about it. It's no explanation, nothing. Just can imagine someone the person who followed the case, I'm like, why? Like, where did I go wrong? Please tell me where I went wrong, right? For example, if I were to kill someone, what would the judge say? Oh, because there's DNA evidence, this one, there's no explanation. I only got the explanation after almost 1 year, 1.5 years. Can you imagine like how much that screwed up my mind? I'm thinking like, what happened? But the reason why I could go out of the court, I remember them from the High Court, and I give that speech, I said, I'll step down from Muda because to move Malaysian politics forward, we need politicians who are whiter than white. And even though I know I'm innocent, I have to take a back seat to clear my name first, and hopefully this will set a proper standard for Malaysian politics. But the reason why I dared to do that is because I knew, sure, some people may make mistakes, but overall, the institution of the judiciary are run by good, competent people. And I think at the appeal court, that was proven. You
kind of touched on this earlier with the Judicial Appointments Commission, and right now what we're seeing, do you think we should be worried about what's going on?
Definitely should be worried. I hope fellow Malaysians actually follow what's happening.
For our camera people who maybe don't know what's going on.
Let me just put it this way, in the most simplest form possible. Today, the prosecutor who may be prosecuting you reports to the Attorney General. The Attorney General and the Attorney General Chambers is under the Prime Minister's office and is appointed by the Prime Minister. So that's a prosecutor. The one who investigates you is the police. Police also reports to the Minister and the Prime Minister and also gets appointed the same way. So there's the investigator and the prosecutor. Then comes the most important defense, which is the judges, which reports to the Chief Justice in particular. The Chief Justice is supposed to be viciously independent and often gets selected through the so-called Eminent Council, which is the Judicial Appointment Commission, JAC. However, today, now suddenly that version is changing. Now saying, no, in the end, it's up to the Prime Minister to appoint and to advise the King, instead of it going through this JAC to find the most competent, the most credible, the most independent, less scandalous candidate possible. And despite the fact, again, many people forgot how the JAC even came about. The JAC came about because of a scandal early 2000, which even the Prime Minister then, the leader of opposition, was very vocal, saying he was a victim of it, right? That's why we need to go through the JAC and even empower the JAC. But today, suddenly, it's like, forget the JAC. And now the debate has changed. Okay, now, even for the Chief Justice, it's the Prime Minister's prerogative to decide. You have the investigator, you have the prosecutor, you have the judge. What more do you need? I do not want to make accusations specifically to the Prime Minister today, but that's exactly what is being seen like. Yeah. Especially for an example, especially when suggestions or recommendations made by the JAC were not fulfilled or rejected. And then now we do not even have a sitting Chief Justice. I mean, someone filled up the spot temporarily, who's the Chief Judge of Malaya. So these are all questions at a time in which we should not even be questioning the integrity of the judiciary. Yep. So I get very worried on matters like this. And this is not about me, Syed Saddiq. It's about the average Malaysian out there who now will see the whole system is co-opted by the political elites. So my genuine hope for the Prime Minister is, if there's one branch which should be empowered, not weakened, is the judiciary. Yeah. And I hope that he has it in him to remember, and I think he was politically persecuted before. He is a person who was persecuted before. Yeah. I hope that remembrance will give the courage in him to reform. Yeah.
So, I mean, for those of you who don't know, I think what YB is talking about is basically separation of powers and how the judiciary has to be separate from, you know, your federal, which is your prime minister and all that kind of thing. Yeah. And since, you know, like 10, 15 years ago, especially during the Najib era, you see a lot of departments coming under the prime minister's department, and basically the appointment of judiciary also is more and more going to the prime minister, and that is a bad thing. So, yeah.
So you spoke about the judiciary and all the issues there. One of the more vocal MPs who've been talking about this in the past few days has been Rafizi. As you all must know, there's been big drama, big movement there with Rafizi and Nick Nazmi recently stepping down from cabinet after losing the PKR elections. From where you're sitting, what do you know of what's going on there? And is there anything there that we need to be taking notes of?
I can't comment on the outcome of the PKR internal elections. That's their right, it's their party, internal party affairs. But what I can say is that having more vocal government backbenchers would be good for Malaysian politics. And one thing I think YB Rafizi does very well, including with Nick Nazmi, is to be a vocal backbencher, like how when they were in opposition. So I think overall that's healthy for Malaysian democracy.
Does it? I don't know. So I think a lot of people have been saying, oh, sekarang kau dah jadi backbencher, baru kau nak berbising. Is that a fair sort of critique of someone like Rafizi?
It is a fair critique. Obviously, I'm cognizant of the fact that when you're in cabinet, there is a collective responsibility. However, similarly for me, for example, when people question what happened in 2018 to 2020, early 2020, for example, oh, Saddiq, why didn't you fight for ABC? But I can effectively say, I say on record, including in cabinet, you can declassify the cabinet minutes. For example, I pushed for asset recreation, it was done. Yep. I pushed for Political Funding Act, negotiated it, was supposed to be tabled in March 2020, government changed. On equal allocations, I fought for it. Not just that, I started in KBS first, where for KBS funds, I opened it transparently. Everyone can apply, including opposition MPs. Above and beyond that, I ensured that even in opposition states, they are given the right, for example, to hold Sukma, where they get more than 200 million of allocations. At the detriment where chief ministers and Menteri Besar of then PH states were complaining, hey, why are you giving it to Kelantan? So at least you need to defend your track record. Similarly, in this context, I'm pretty sure they have their ways and they have to show that. Once they show that, then there is an aura of credibility to also show that today we are fighting the good fight, like how we did, but maybe in a different way when we were in cabinet.
Specifically with that, Rafizi losing the party election, and after that him resigning as from his post, right? So what's the dynamics there that you know about? Like, is that required when you lose the party election, then you have to resign, or because it's not required by law, right?
It's definitely not required
so,
by law.
So what's going on there? Yeah, do you know how it works?
I listened to maybe Rafizi's podcast where he explained that in the Westminster political system, that in the end, if you lose the command of your party and party grassroots, then you should not be a minister. However, in the same Westminster system, usually the prerogative of appointing the minister is the prime minister. This is not like, it doesn't even mess with the separation of powers because you are a politician, you are appointed by the prime minister. So maybe that's always been the case. I mean, not just before, even today, even if you look like 50 years, 40 years ago, that's always been the case. There are many people who are not top party leaders who are also appointed to cabinet. But maybe he has his reasons, and to be very fair and honest, if the prime minister has the prerogative to appoint, the appointee also has a prerogative to reject or to step down. Right. And people do that for many different reasons. He may do it because of party elections. I did it then when I was re-offered in the midst of Sheraton because I disagreed with the Sheraton move and the backdoor government being formed. So yeah, I mean, he has his reasons, I have my reasons.
I guess now that you have been found not guilty at the Court of Appeal, and then I think the news recently was you're stepping back up as president of MUDA. Was there any leads you were taking from the Westminster system for how you wanted MUDA to be organized?
I mean, my hopes in all of this, first and foremost, the reason why I didn't immediately accept the presidency again, because I did request for some time, because 5 years, it's a very long time. Not just at 5 years, during the 1 year and a half before the appeal started. It took a very long time before the appeal started, not because of me, they postponed many times. I barely had time to think or to even plan on what's the best way to move forward. So the reason I want to take a little bit of time, because I think before immediately jumping back and going gun-ho, I think now we need to be a little bit more cognizant of the fact that in a first-past-the-post system, like Malaysia, like the UK, it is remarkably tough for a small party or newcomer to immediately climb up. So knowing that, I think it's about strategizing what's the best way to move forward.
Shall we move to the last question?
Well, it's not the last question because I think we have one more after that.
Okay.
But a lot of people have asked this question, so we have to bring it up. In fact, one person actually said something like, my question will never get tabled, trust me. So we have to table it then, no choice. So it's basically, when will you tie the knot with Bella? I believe most people want to ask about relationship with Bella.
For the record, this was the biggest number of questions we had for this particular theme. Like, again, the main things we've covered today, your court case, MUDA, PKR, GAC, this was probably the most popular theme among our viewers. So
how would you respond to all these questions?
To be very frank and honest, like all the questions you asked me before, I give like direct answers. I didn't become a politician. Can I be a politician now? I'm like,
okay.
I'm gonna be a politician and like berkenaan isu peribadi dan isu rumah tangga lebih baik kekalkan sebegitu. Ya, kerana yang melibatkan ramai orang lain, bukan setakat Syed Saddiq, yang mungkin berada dalam landscape politik, tetapi termasuk keluarga bersebelahan yang sudah ada anak. So lebih baik kita kekalkan ruang peribadi dan menghormati ruang peribadi tersebut.
I think that is a good answer, don't you guys think?
Yeah, I think
that was very, very fair. Yeah.
But I mean, I don't blame you guys because even when I do my Q&A on Instagram, my Q&A is about sports. It's specifically I said Q&A like ask me about sports. 80% will be like, if you guys were like, guys, how do I answer? Like, for example, I did like this 114-kilometer race like on Saturday, Sunday. I got stomach cramps. I put like, okay, anyone help like answer like why I do stomach cramps? Man, the answers were wild. Like, oh, butterflies, Bella was there. And then like, stress because you haven't gotten married. So I'm like,
well, I feel like that's probably one of the... Okay, no, you want to keep going.
I have one more. Okay, so it's basically based on a lot of people asking about coming into politics and all that kind of thing, right? And I mean, I've been following your career for quite some time, and you've stuck to your message with a lot of difficulty. Yeah. Right? and it's you got court cases, you got people calling you a traitor. There's a lot of noise out there. How difficult is it to hold on to your values with all that's going on, and is it worth it? Because there's so much distraction, there's so much. Somebody will say one small thing, like you brought up the case of your mom just now, and how just withdrawing 500 ringgit from there could actually cause this whole scandal, and then you got that scandal to deal with and this scandal to deal with. Isn't it sometimes just easier to give in to the system? But as far as we've been tracking you, you've held quite steady to your line. Is it worth it?
I mean, in an ideal world, no one should go through what I went through and what many other persecuted politicians in Malaysia have gone through. In an ideal world, what more dragging their family through the mud? But since Malaysia is not ideal, to get to the ideal position, it will require a lot of sacrifices. It will require a lot of grit and perseverance to keep on pushing the barometers and the walls to keep on moving ahead instead of going back. So the reason for me, I'm willing to take up that fight and still be who I am, is because I know, even though I'm just a small change agent in this whole scheme of things, but at least I know I'm contributing. And I know I'm moving the needle forward. Secondly is, I think I have reached a point in my life where I know what I want. I know what I want to do, I know what I want to achieve, I know what I want to sacrifice for the country. So that's why, to a point, before the judges ruled that I'll be acquitted in my favour, I was actually prepared. I mean, even for the worst case scenario. I don't want to make the same mistake like High Court where I wasn't prepared. I was so confident, right? I was prepared. Because in my mind, okay, maybe this is the price which you have to pay. I think once you reach that point, I mean, back then in Greece, they call it stoicism. In Islam, it's called takdir. Once you reach that point, you notice you get a lot more calm instead of panicking, because that's part and parcel of the journey. Should it be part and parcel of the journey? It should not. When you are in that position, you should change it. But it's worth it because it's for a greater cause. So the way how I summarize it is learning the art of compromise without compromising your principles.
Spoken like a Buddha RMC.
Oh, really? Oh, yeah. But I think that's about it. Yeah.
Thank you so much, YB, for joining us. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you everyone for tuning in. This was Siapa Makan, Cili with our special guest Syed Saddiq. And as always, if you have anything you wanted to ask him, you can probably dump it in his Insta stories again. Otherwise, tune into the next episode, and thank you for watching.
Bye.